For the third spring in a row, the Halton Region Salmon and Trout Association released several thousand salmon into Lake Ontario at Bronte Harbour Outer Marina. The 15,000 Chinook salmon were hatched by the Ministry of Natural Resources. From there, they were delivered by a tanker truck to Bronte Outer Harbour Marina, where children from the area were invited to bring the fish down to net pens. It's there that these fish will be held for the next several weeks until they're ready to be released into the lake.
The benefit to our net pen rearing program is we are giving these 15,000 kings a head start in life. We are feeding them at an increased growth and protecting them from predation. We're also imprinting them to the biology within the Bronte Creek watershed. And this is all a benefit to the fishery. These fish, in theory, will return to the Bronte Creek watershed upon their maturity in 3 to 4 years, thus providing a shore fishery for anyone who wishes to try to pursue them.
Beyond the obvious ecological benefit of Saturday's event, it also had a very strong educational component to it as well.
Today we had about 160 people come out of all walks of life and ages. A lot of kids from some of the local schools learning about salmon and Lake Ontario and the life cycle, conservation, how salmon integrate into and imprint into Bronte, Oakville. And so it's really good that they understand how that works. I think a lot of people tend to forget that Lake Ontario is right here at our doorstep, and forget to kind of make use of that.
Part of the life cycle of a salmon is the point where the fish reach maturity, and that's when they return to their spawning grounds and begin that life cycle all over again.
So this being our third year, we'll start to see the improvements to the fishery, the results of our efforts through the boat fishery of the Chinook salmon that we put in back in 2015.
Now, if you'd like more information about the Halton Region Salmon and Trout Association, you can find them at hrsalmonandtrout.com. Also keep in mind that there is another Ontario Family Fishing Week coming up from July 1st through 9th. Reporting for Halton Insider, I'm Pierce Lang. From the Rebecca Street Bridge over 16 Mile Creek, you can see a lot of changes happening to the Oakville Harbor. And I'm not talking about the construction of the new Lakeshore Bridge either. A few meters away from the bridge construction, water from Lake Ontario has overflowed into the street in front of the library. The water level is so high that the docks of the Oakville Power Boat Club are almost completely submerged. Over at the Oakville Yacht Squadron, they're flooded so bad that they have had to turn away people who are trying to launch their boats. They currently have 60 of their boats waiting in dry dock.
Now, normally we would have launched the boats into the river by May the 6th, and here we are almost 2 weeks later, and we're still not launching until the 27th and 28th of May. So we're almost a month behind schedule.
And the water levels aren't just causing problems at the Oakville Harbor. At the Bronte Inner Harbor Marina, the docks aren't submerged. They're sticking up into the air at a wild angle because they are attached to the shoreline on a hinge.
We've obviously had a lot of concerns from the boaters not being able to launch their boats. The launching ramp is under 8-10 inches of water, and that's very difficult for people to get their boats in. But also we've seen cresting over the boardwalk. We've tried our best as a town to sandbag the areas and make sure that the water doesn't creep up any further. But the decks and a lot of the hardware on the docks, they've all hinged up as well, so we're going to have to replace a lot of that. And then a lot of the permanent structures like the Metro Marina building have seen more than their share of flooding. So there's going to be a lot of mitigation that needs to happen. But we're just hoping and crossing our fingers that we don't get any more substantial amounts of rain so we can try and deal with the rainwater that we have.
Now, rain isn't the only problem, as strong winds from the east blow lake water into the creeks and marinas, forcing the creeks to break their banks and flow into the low-lying lands around them. The town has been forced to divert staff from other projects to help with the cleanup efforts as the waters overflow and recede almost daily.
So right now we're inspecting all of our lakefront parks and harbors on a daily basis. We're inspecting areas that have been caution taped off, any areas that have been fenced off that are unsafe for the public. We're going through and we are cleaning up areas where water has receded. So little by little we are starting to do some cleanup, but there is high water in a number of areas that it's going to take some time before that water recedes, before we can actually go in and do a proper cleanup and an evaluation of any damage that has occurred.
The water levels may rise yet again as Environment Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for southern Ontario. Reporting for Halton Insider, I'm Pierce Lang. It's no secret that skilled trades are vital to Ontario's economy. Provincial Labour Minister Kevin Flynn was in town 2 weeks ago to announce funding for pre-apprenticeship programs at colleges province-wide. We've even seen organizations making donations to skilled trades education in high schools within the region. However, today, we saw the best and brightest skilled trades students taking part in the Halton Skills competition.
There's over 1,100 students competing from grade 4 right through to grade 12. There's over 2,000 students touring, and they're doing all sorts of technological education trades and skills, as well as some family studies such as fashion, and this is auto service. There's hairstyling, there's Lego robotics, there's communications such as this, and there's all sorts of competitions here today.
Part of what makes this event so special is that not only are these students getting to see what their peers are capable of, but they're also receiving invaluable hands-on instruction.
Well, this event's amazing because there are industry leaders, not just in landscaping, but in all the trades here, helping judge and coach these these teenagers and young people through this event.
Beyond the expertise provided by industry professionals, there are several sponsors who helped make today's event possible, whether it was Mohawk College providing these 2 sweet muscle cars, or Tegs Tools and Machinery from Hamilton, who helped secure professional-grade tools for these students to use.
We had, I believe, 3 major suppliers that came in with us today. One of them was Bosch Power Tools, and they did one section of the competition. DeWalt Power Tools did another section of the competition, and Makita did another section of the competition. So they physically let the kids use miter saws, cordless drills, circular saws, and anything else they needed for the particular event that they were playing in or competing in. And we had King came out, Milwaukee came out, they're also major suppliers for us to support, to show the support for the Halton Board and the support for Tegs Tools.
Now, the winners of today's events were announced shortly before we went to air, so they weren't able to get in to this story. So you're going to have to wait for tomorrow's show to find out who's going to be heading off to the regional competition. Reporting for Halton Insider, I'm Pierce Lang. Deep in an Oakville storage facility sits a stockpile of used soccer equipment destined for underprivileged youth across the world.
Make a Great Pass, donate your used soccer gear, which is what I call the campaign, has collected, sorted and distributed 20,000 soccer uniforms, 8,000 soccer balls, 3,000 pairs of cleats and thousands of other soccer-related items. And through just different connections through the soccer club and through Rotary, I've had people approach me who say, "Oh, I would love to give that to a mission in Africa or a soccer team down in Central America," and we've managed to give, as I say, to 35 countries overseas, to people in impoverished communities, and also here in Canada for some people that need it as well.
The idea for this charity came to Desmond easily enough as he watched his wife cleaning out last year's soccer uniforms from her kids' closet.
About 5 years ago, I was a house league soccer coach of my 3 children, and I noticed my wife was gathering up soccer uniforms and about to throw them in the garbage, and I stopped her and said, why would you do that? Soccer uniforms are so valuable and, you know, people would appreciate them. And I asked her how many she had, and she said 11. And I said, well, 11, and they're all the same color. I said, that's almost a whole team.
And it was at that point that Desmond did some quick math in his head, and the connection to the 10,000 member strong Oakville Soccer Club was made, and it was a natural fit.
The Oakville Soccer Club is thrilled to support the Make a Great Pass program. We have so many kids in program that collect soccer balls and soccer shorts and jerseys and shoes over the years that it's a great opportunity for them to pass it along to kids all over the world who don't have access to soccer equipment the way that we do.
Now, Desmond has also developed strong relationships with the Burlington Youth Soccer Club and Ancaster Soccer Club, as he has set up his bins within their facilities as well. If you have any used gear lying around, you can always swing by either the Oakville Soccer Club or Burlington Youth Soccer Club and drop stuff off anytime during business hours. Reporting for Halton Insider, I'm Pierce Lang. Have you ever wondered what happens to your yard waste bags after they leave your curbside? Well, Halton Region takes them up to their waste facility on Highway 25 across from Rattlesnake Point Golf Club, and for 8 months, it's carefully transformed into compost.
We grind it all up so it's in, so all the bags and twigs are broken down. We place it in long rows called windrows. And essentially what's happening in there, we have loaders on the pad here. They'll turn it twice a day, bringing air into those rows, and they're heating up to probably anywhere from 55 to 60 degrees Celsius. So it's really helping to break down all that stuff, all those twigs, all those leaves, branches, and stuff like that. So essentially it's cooking it, it's breaking it down, and yeah, in 6 to 8 months, we have that nice, rich, dark, earthy compost, which you want to put in your gardens and, into your flower beds.
And once that process is completed, the region sets the refined compost aside for Halton residents to come pick up free of charge.
It's limited to about 7 bags per customer who comes in. It's all free. And then as well, we're running a food bank donation program. So anyone who comes in, we're asking if they could bring, a non-perishable food item, or if they want to give some cash, we'll accept that as well. So it actually is a great initiative. Last year we raised over $10,000 and we took in over 5 tons of food.
Now, this giveaway is running for a limited time, so you want to get your load of compost as soon as possible. You have until Sunday, May 14th at noon, and then you're going to have to wait again until September 16th for the next batch of compost to be ready. You'll want to make sure that if you are going to make your way up there to the landfill, you bring a few items with you, including your own containers such as garbage bags, waste bins, reusable containers, and your own shovel as well.
Well, it's a terrific idea. I mean, it encourages people, first of all, to recycle. They're, putting out their stuff every week or every 2 weeks. And then the idea that you can come back and pick it up when it's usable in our gardens, this is fabulous. It's a great idea.
So if you want to make your way to this great event, it is taking place at the Halton Waste Management site in Milton at 5400 Regional Road 25. Reporting for Halton Insider, I'm Pierce Lang.